everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and this is sort of like a rant video. So it's not a general discussion, it's not any other kind of video I have on this channel, but this is basically a rant video because this is a subject that's kind of riling me up lately, and that's basically me asking the question about why are video games continuing to be released unfinished during launch. And before I get into my thoughts about this, here are a few words from the channel. Alright everybody, it's time to get on the social media train. Want to chat with me in 100 words or less? Then check out my Twitter account. Want to talk about movies, TV shows, and video games within the group? Then check out my Facebook account. Want to check out some of my ultra cool fan art? Then check out my DeviantArt page. Want to get the lowdown on everything that's happening on this channel? Then check all of the above. And now, we return to our regularly scheduled program. So this was a video I've been trying to do for many months now, and I've been trying to figure out how I was going to approach this topic about why I keep seeing video games being released unfinished during launch, or why there's a lot of broken video games being released to the public when they're not finished yet. And this is something that's often got on my nerves because it's like I want to see really good video games, and I keep seeing a lot of video games that get released unfinished or have a very buggy system, and they still get released to the public anyway. And I just wondering about all of that. Why is it still happening? So let's talk about some of the video games that did get this treatment. So as you guys may have noticed, the most recent examples are Sonic Colors Ultimate and the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy series, and how they were supposed to be remasters of their original games, but when they got released to the public, they were released in a very buggy state. And a lot of people were really upset about that. And even though with Sonic Colors Ultimate, they were able to get some patches in after the game's release, there was still a lot of fans that were still upset about the fact that this game got released in a buggy state to begin with. And I have to agree with a lot of fans. Like, why I appreciate the fact that they were able to patch up the game afterwards, I have to wonder to myself, why did you release this game in a bad state to begin with? Why didn't you just patch up this game while it was still in development? And this is something that's not only affected these certain titles, but it's something that's been affecting the video game industry as a whole as of late. Like, you see a lot of video games that get released to the public and either they're unfinished or they're buggy, and yet they get patches later on. And the fact is, though, is that they were still released unfinished during their launch. And this causes a lot of people to have to refund their games and wait several months until the game actually gets some patches into it. And I have to wonder to myself, why didn't you just patch up the games during development? Why did you have to release the game in a half-finished state in the first place? Well, some of the reasons for this might be because of the deadlines. Like, I understand that there's a lot of video games that have to deal with deadlines, like they have to be released during a specific time of the year, like most notably the holiday season, where a lot of people are buying games, or a lot of people are just buying products in general, and so they want to get the game released by that time so they could get all their profits through that game selling during that time. But at the same time, if the game is like buggy or it's not even finished yet, then shouldn't they just delay the game instead of like releasing it in the state it's in? Like, I'm no game developer, so I don't know what's really going on behind the scenes in regards to making video games, or why this is something that's happening with the video game industry as a whole. But I have to wonder to myself, why would you release an unfinished product to the public? Because when you release unfinished products to the public like this, or you're releasing bad products to the public, then it's going to make the company look bad. And I've noticed that a lot of video game companies tend to release a lot of unfinished games or a lot of buggy video games to the public before they're even finished or they're even patched up. And it tends to make the companies look real bad, because then the gamers or the consumers start complaining about, why are you releasing your games in this bad state? Why didn't you just delay the game and fix all those mistakes first before you release the game in a bad condition? Like, for me personally, if I go out and I buy a product, I expect that product to be in good condition. So for me, if you put out a video game out into the public, I expect that video game to be completely finished or be in really good condition, so I can play it and I don't have to worry about going back to the video game store to refund the game and wait several months for the game to get patched up. I want that game to be in good condition the moment I get it, or the moment that you advertise it at that moment. I don't want the game to be unfinished or be in a bad state the moment you launch the game. So it's something that's really upset me a lot when you see a lot of video games get released in a bad state to the public and they're not even finished, and then you have to wait several months for the game to get patched up when they could have just patched up the game during development, or they could have given the game developers more time to work on the game so they could perfect the gameplay and make the games less buggy and just put out a really good product. So for me, I think it's very important for a game to be released in a very good condition. And if that means you have to delay the game just to get it in a good condition, then so be it. I'd rather have the game be delayed than to rush out the game in a bad state and then I have to end up refunding the game and waiting several months for the game to be patched up just to have a better experience with that video game. And I don't think it's really fair to the consumers that they have to buy this game in a buggy state and they have to refund it and then they have to wait several months for the game to get patched up when they didn't have to go through all that trouble in the first place. So that's my small rant on this topic, and tell me in the comments down below, how do you feel about video game companies releasing buggy games or unfinished games to the public and then waiting several months until they patch up the game? Are you okay with this? Do you think that video game companies should change their strategies and just start delaying games if they're not finished? Please let me know in the comments down below. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you guys later.